Welcome to TrustCast. This is the first episode of a podcast by Securant. The first episode is called Ask an Ethical Hacker. And I have an ethical hacker here with me. It's my colleague, Jony. Hi, Jony.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. And we've gathered some questions from the community, from Reddit, from our colleagues. And Jony, as an ethical hacker, will help us understand better the world of cybersecurity. You're an ethical hacker. What's an ethical hacker? What do you do exactly? For what companies do you work? Could you explain to us a little bit what's ethical hacking?
The most important thing about ethical hacking is the part at the start is the word ethical. We only hack with permission. So we only do assignments for other companies, basically, that actually give us written permission to test those systems. Otherwise, we go in against the law and we could get in prison or
you're not ethical
fines.
Anymore.
Yeah, they're not ethical anymore. So what hacking actually is testing the security of other systems. So companies normally ask, I'm wondering how secure is my website, how secure is my web application, how secure is our internal infrastructure or external infrastructure that's exposed to the internet, or they just want to ask in general, you could just hack everything from us. These are our systems, this is our scope. Please tell us how secure we are. Are there any vulnerabilities? Are there any misconfigurations? Are there any things we could improve upon security-wise? So we normally work on project basis. So let's say I work together with a colleague for 5 days on this pen test. So we have 10 days of testing. We test all those things, and at the end we give a detailed report with all the misconfigurations or vulnerabilities we found on those steps, on those test subjects. So that could be on the external network, internal network, the website, the things I mentioned before. And then we do a presentation with them of everything we found.
Yeah.
And then they normally solve those vulnerabilities or misconfigurations, or they will say, hey, this risk is not that high. This is a feature. We accept the risk of this finding. And then we sometimes retest them to validate, hey, did you actually fix them, or are they still present and you didn't completely solve the issue.
All right.
So that's what we do to a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
Most of it is writing reports because they have to be very detailed, and that's our product that we actually deliver to the customer. That's what they also need to read to fix the vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So it's not all fun and game, it's also writing reports.
How likely is it that a hive been breached, and what can I do to find out?
Well, I think every person has at least their data leaked in some data breach.
Okay.
There have been very big breaches. Even LinkedIn has most of its user breached.
Okay.
There are some websites where you could look up if your credentials are in a data breach. There's a website, at least one of them is named Have I Been Pwned?
Have I been pwned?
Have I Been Pwned?
Okay.
Yes, that is managed by Troy Hunt. It's a security researcher, and he basically gathers those data breaches from the internet and the dark web and what gets sold there. And sometimes they even get submitted by other security researchers because he's building one big database of all those breaches.
Okay.
And what you could do on the website is fill in your email address, and it will tell you if your email address has been leaked in one of these breaches, and if your password or a encrypted version of the password hash, has been included in that breach as well, and maybe if some other information has been included.
Included as well? So what else can it be included?
Your credit card, everything that you normally sign up on a website, and if that website get breached, all that data could be breached.
Okay.
And the most interesting data that attackers are interested in is your personal information, your BSN number, your credit card information, payment information, health information is pretty popular on the dark web as well. I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but they could use it to phish you or something. I've looked up my old email address before that I used when I was a little kid still.
Okay.
And I think my email address is 20 breaches or something. And even some of my old passwords are in there.
Okay.
That are really easy. It was like my sister's name or something.
Okay.
But that was from when I was a little kid, and now I obviously don't have those passwords anymore. But
yeah, I
think
if I do
it's
it,
very likely that the person normally has at least some of their information inside a data breach.
Yeah.
Because some big companies, as I said, as LinkedIn, Adobe, especially Adobe has been breached. Some old gaming websites,
Okay.
Like I used to play Neopets or something when I was a kid, and that's also breached, and my data was in there. So yeah, it's very very likely that their data is breached.
Yeah, and when you let's say that you find out that you've been breached, and you find out that you have 19, like you said, 19 breaches, what should you do? Let's say that you're still using those passwords.
Yeah, so you should obviously change
The password.
if you remember what password you use, because the website won't tell you what your password is. There are some services out there that actually tell them the password, but it's not really ethically for FME to do that. You need subscription models for that. But what could you do personally? The best thing to do is to have different passwords for different services. But I obviously understand that people don't really like that because it's a hassle to manage all those passwords. But the best thing to do is to start a password manager. There are free password managers out there like Bitwarden, LastPass, OnePassword. You could sign up personally for free. And I also taught my girlfriend that, but because she has different password now, what you should actually do is sign up for that servers.
Yeah.
And whenever you log in into one of your accounts, let's say YouTube, you see, oh, this password is probably pretty easy. You should actually go change your password and then save it inside the vault, inside the password vault. And the password vault can also just generate random password for you.
Okay.
And then whenever you log in inside a website, you have normally like a browser plugin. It will remember, hey, these are your credentials for the website. You click on them, and then they fill them in for you.
Yeah.
So you have very strong, complex password for every new service. And the big good thing about this is when you, like, let's say I change my password for YouTube, and it's a very complex password. And if that password get breached, and it was saved in clear text, if the attackers have that password, they can only log into YouTube because that's the only valid password the service is for the service. And what normally most users have is they use the same password for the same services.
Okay.
So let's say you have signed up 10 years ago for Neopets and your password was welcome123 exclamation mark.
Probably.
They will obviously try those servers against all the other things like your Gmail account, your Hotmail, your YouTube.
So first of all, you should never
work
use the
accounts
same
maybe
password across
Yeah.
more accounts. Okay.
And if you do, try to change them and use at least some passwords, some stronger passwords for important services like your email. And it's generally, it's less of a risk if you use a general password for different web shops or something, because there's not really much to get there. But use at least different passwords for your email services, your banking services, your computer probably, and your phone and stuff. But
So, but still, the best way to go about this is to have a vault, a password vault like Bitwarden. I've used it in the past at my previous job, and that's the safest way
to save them at least in a vault. If it is a cloud service or a local program like KeyPass or something, that's so good. Okay,
interesting. So you're an ethical hacker. A question was, what's the most surprising what's the most surprising way that you've broken into a system? Because you have broken into a lot of systems.
The most surprising way? Well, one time during one of our pen tests of one of our clients, we were not able to actually gain domain admin privileges. And domain admin privileges are the highest level of privileges you could get in a business environment where the computers and the general IT infrastructure is managed by a Windows domain. And the admin account in there is named the role domain administrator. We saw that the password policy didn't require complex passwords, so it wasn't required to have a symbol in there or a number or a capital letter or a small letter. The only requirement was that it has to be at least 5 characters. So we thought this is going to be an easy pen test because we can request a list of all the users and try many easy guessable passwords on those users. We got access to a lot of normal employee accounts, but we didn't get access to any account that could do anything interesting on any of their systems. So during the end of the pen test, we were like, what other passwords should we try? And another colleague said, maybe we should just try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I was like,
no.
Yeah, we could, but that's never going to work. And we did. And we actually got the we got access to the domain administrator account of our contact, which was the IT administrator of the company, and it was his password.
There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah, we got a domain admin. That's the best thing to get during one of those pen tests.
Was it a big company?
No, it was just a school.
Okay.
So we called him and we told him, we got access to the main admin and we saw that your password was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he was like, damn it.
How you cracked that code?
I said this a while ago and it was for testing. I forgot to change it back. I was like, that's the things that happen. Doing something temporary becomes a temporary solution becomes permanent because you forget things and it's working now and don't change it because it might break again. So that's one of the most interesting ways I actually became domain admin. Yeah. Normally it's a bit more complex.
Okay.
Another way we sometimes got access to the domain admin account was when domain admins or IT administrators actually create accounts. There are separate fields inside the account you could use, and one of them is a description field.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it recently. That's at least a couple of years ago. Is that some IT administrators think, I only got access to these attributes, so they save a password of a service account inside the description. But a normal user could. They probably don't know how to do it, but an attacker with a normal user account could do that. Could actually request the information inside those attributes. So what we normally do as well is we request all the usernames and the description field. And then we read through all the description fields to is there something in there that probably could be a password? And sometimes you see pass is, and then some random string. And you probably think, that's a password. And if you see a random string in there that's, definitely not a description of something useful, then it is probably a password and you try it. So that's another interesting and easy way how you can get access to other accounts and maybe even elevate your privileges inside the network.
The goal of a hacker can be either to get in once and get the data or to get in and stay in. So a question was, how do hackers move from getting in to getting persistent and stable access to your systems?
So let's start at the start to getting in.
Yeah.
A hacker from the outside normally tries to phish a user or either attack systems that are externally exposed to the internet.
Okay.
So the most common way, externally at least, is that there is some vulnerability inside a firewall or a VPN or, at least some years ago, a lot of companies had an exchange server for their mail exposed to the internet, and now they're all using cloud services. But normally there's some vulnerability in one of these systems that actually allows an attacker to execute code, so probably something malicious, onto the system to gain access to it. And once you gain access to such a system, that system is also connected to the internet, but also connected to the internal network. So from that system, you could actually move from the internet, gain access to that system, and then move to the internal network. And inside the internal network, they could just scan the whole network and then check what's maybe vulnerable there, or listen for credentials that are getting sent through the network and maybe send them to other systems. And if they're not protected enough, they could actually authenticate as that user. And that way they would gain access to a normal user account. And then they could all do all the tricks that I just talked about. So maybe request the user accounts and descriptions and then gain access to another account. And eventually they will end up on some systems and they will install something there that actually communicates back to the internet and to a system that the attacker owns. And that is called C2 communication.
Sorry, how?
C2 communication.
C2 communication.
So that's actually a simple program that actually pings back every, if they really want to stay hidden, it will ping back maybe once a day. And it will ping back to the server of the attacker and ask like, hey, I'm still alive. What would you like me to do?
Okay.
And on the server side of the attacker, they could set up a schedule for like, okay, I want you to run this command the next time you connect. but they could also change the interval of the connection. So they could also change, okay, you have been here for like 30 days. We're not noticed. I think it's safe now. Please ping back every hour, so they can actually do more things in a day than just try one thing in a day.
Okay. Maybe I have stupid question. I don't know if it's what can they do with our data? Is it only to ask for ransom, or is it sometimes that they don't care about the ransomware, but they actually only care about the data, what they can do with it?
It really depends on what the data is, I guess.
Okay.
If it's a company like ASML and they could get access to some of their blueprint of chips, they are going to definitely sell them to probably China or something.
Okay.
Or maybe try ASML and even give them a ransom, but maybe they will pay more. It will probably really depends who will pay more for the data, the company itself or selling it to others. At least for personal information, they will probably sell it to attackers, which will use it again to try phishing attempts or I'm not sure what they will do with it. Like medical information, I know it's valuable for the dark web, but I'm not sure what the attackers will do with it. There's also services that actually sell access to the company. So there's like specific hacking groups that gain access to companies, but they're not really in the ransom business. So what they do, they just gain access and then they sell the access to a group that actually does ransomware.
Oh, you can sell the access to a third party.
Yeah, that's what not ethical hackers will do.
Okay.
We normally don't do that.
No.
Normally, or we don't do that at all, obviously. How we actually test is we send a little device that they plug in their network because
How's it called? You told me before.
We call it a HD scan box.
Scan box, yeah.
Stands for Hack Defense Scan Machine. But it's a little box. It's like a little Raspberry Pi that connects back to our servers, like a C2 communication, and we could actually set up our routes there and then connect to the internal network and do our testing. One of the things we actually do is try to get domain admin access, for example. But what the main goal of the pen test is to find as many vulnerabilities as possible and report upon them. But our most fun thing to do is to try to get some elevated privileges because those are the findings that are normally risked as high, and all the low-hanging fruit is less important and less fun to actually do something with it. But we also report it, obviously, because it's something the company could improve upon.
Yeah.
So that could be as simple as, you have a outdated version of SSH, but it's not vulnerable for any remote code execution vulnerability, but it's not up to date, so please just update it.
Okay. And just to follow up on my last question, I have a follow-up question. Can you walk us through like a nightmare scenario from the hacker side? What can go wrong? How can it be exploited? And how could it have been prevented?
So I think one of the nightmare scenarios, a couple of years ago, there were many vulnerabilities in Exchange that were actually actively exploited by attackers. There was no patch available yet. That's when we also received many calls. Hey, maybe we're breached. Could you please help us out? Those couple of days we were just checking Exchange servers to check if they were breached. Okay. There was an exploit in Exchange where an attacker could just gain access to the Exchange server. So that's one system that's normally exposed to the internet, but also connected to the inside of the internet.
Okay.
And the thing with Exchange is that inside a Windows domain, it has normally a lot of privileges because it has to be able to manage mailboxes and do things. It's normally like a tier 0 machine. It's if you have access to an Exchange server, you're almost domain admin instantly.
Oh.
So there was a big chaos going on around in the world, and a lot of those machines were actually actively compromised. The attackers were also just scanning the whole internet and automatically exploiting those machines and gaining access and setting it properly. Let's assume you're there on the machine. They're compromised. They are almost already domain admin. They maybe need to do 1 or 2 more steps, but there is not anything stopping them probably. They have access to your domain admin credentials. They could just encrypt all of your machines and give a big pop-up warning like the big WannaCry breakout that happened like 10 years ago or something.
What happened 10 years ago?
There was a big ransomware where think even the port of Rotterdam was also targeted, and all their data got encrypted.
The port of Amsterdam, of Rotterdam.
Rotterdam.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna dive too deep into that, because I don't know all the information, obviously. But yeah, you could actually get ransomware, and then they're gonna ask for a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the nightmare scenarios. Another, but a different change would be that one of your firewalls actually has something exposed to the internet, and there's a vulnerability in there. Most of the popular firewall vendors, there's like a new vulnerability after 2 or 3 months. So if you're not keeping up with the updates, you will likely get breached as well. And the firewall is also one of those systems that's also exposed to the internet, but also has access to the internal network. And a firewall is a special device that normally companies are using to also VPN inside the internal network.
Okay.
And the VPN is a software program that sets up a private tunnel for you to the device to encrypt all your traffic on your laptop to the internal infrastructure.
Okay. And so this is how it could have been prevented?
No. That's just a service that normally is exposed to the internet, that could have and regularly has vulnerabilities inside the software of the vendor. So that could be a FortiGate or another firewall vendor.
And how can a company, because we talked about before, like private people, like myself, I can have a vault, a password vault. And what can a company do? Is it the same, or are there like more steps
to prevent getting hacked? I think one of the most important thing is to have an ethical hacker or a security specialist have a look at your systems. So what we normally do is, for our customers, we do a yearly pen test. And if they want, we also do follow-ups on specific vulnerabilities to see if they have been solved from our report. I think that's one important thing to do, because getting domain admin, the first time and the second time, we almost always get it. There's been, I think I can still count them on one hand or two hands, the ways that we couldn't get it to work.
It does happen
most
sometimes.
of the time it happens all the time.
But
that we gain access to the domain admin account, which gives you access to the whole infrastructure, and you could encrypt everything with it. If you want, we don't do that during pen tests, but we gain those levels of access.
Okay, but you said that you can count on one hand the times that you couldn't get in. So it did happen a few times.
It happens most of the time, yeah. Not get in externally, but once you have access to the internal network, most of the time, almost all the time, we gain access to we gain the highest level of access to the internal network.
Domain.
The domain admin.
Yeah. And the company where you couldn't hack, that you couldn't breach, what were they doing right?
So they had probably regular pen tests, because many of the misconfigurations we normally see in a network weren't present. So their Exchange server they don't have an Exchange server. Their certificate services are segmented inside a separate network segment where you could not access it as a normal employee. All their important servers that are not needed to, where an employee doesn't require to have access to, are actually in different segments. So many of the servers we can't actually reach from there.
Okay.
They were using difficult passwords. There were not many network shares because they were actually restricted for access as well.
Okay.
So one common thing we normally do is we go through all the network shares that a user normally has access to, which is many more than you normally see on a computer, but we scan the whole network and actually try to log in, and hey, there's a network share here. It's called IT. Oh, it's hidden. Oh, there's software here. Oh, there's a configuration file. Oh, there's a password of a service account. And that service account could log into another server, and then you gain access to domain admin. They have really cleaned up the environment. There's nothing left to find there. And then there's just not that much to do.
Okay.
Yeah, you find many vulnerabilities, but nothing with any high risk or any ways to escalate your privileges. Maybe you get access to 10 normal employee accounts, but they don't have local admin access to any machine. They can't really do anything except on their own machine.
All right. So
And then it's really, those are fun pencils as well, because you really have to think out of the box and like, what can I try now? Can I do this? No, it's not possible. Okay, try this.
yeah.
And at the end, you feel defeated, but it's a good thing that the company couldn't actually be breached. But for us, it's like, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
It didn't happen.
All right. So we were talking about attacks, like attacks to a company, to a private person. Which attack vector do you see most often? Which companies still underestimate?
So I think most companies, they never have been pen tested before, at least. And what we also see is that sometimes they do get pen tests, but they only scan on the external network, because they will be like, if an attacker, if he cannot get hacked from the internet, so our firewall safe, they just test those IPs, but they never test the internal network. So what is, how to give this a better explanation? So they do actually do pen tests, but they only have their website test, their firewall IP address, and maybe 2 other IP addresses that are also using for the office to connect to the internet.
Okay.
But they never tested their internal network. So an ethical hacker never connected their own laptop to the internal network, or they connected the machine. And they never scanned the internal network and never tested the Windows domain. But what does it tell that? Because you're protected from the internet, but if somebody gets on the inside, it's game over.
Okay.
Because they never did any scanning there or any vulnerability testing.
Okay, because a hacker, just to repeat for myself, can get access externally via the internet or internally. Does he have 2 ways, or are these 2 ways connected?
No, to get access to the internal network, you need to gain access to there in some way. So they either have to go into the office physically, if you are like a black hat hacker, which sometimes they do with social engineering, and they will impersonate like, hey, I'm KPN, a network administrator, I need to get access to the server room, and then they plug in a device. But that normally doesn't really commonly happen, because most of the black hat hackers are based in Russia and things like that. So then you're more thinking about nation states that send somebody there to do some malicious things.
It's not likely.
Which does happen, but not for regular companies. But for ASML or something, they're definitely getting targeted by nation states like China or something. But normal company normally gets exposed externally by the external systems, or maybe by phishing. By phishing, they just send an email to all the employees to click on something, open a file that's infected with malware, or gain access to their mail accounts and send more email internally, and then try to get some files executed on the system. They normally test those external systems, but they sometimes don't test the internal systems. And when we do our pen tests, we also advise to do the test internally. Yes, it takes more time, because it's way bigger than testing just externally. But just testing externally doesn't really tell you how safe you are.
Okay.
It just tells you how easy could a hacker with 4 hours of work get access to your internal network, which they normally gain access through by phishing anyway. And they put in a lot of efforts for those phishing attempts. Sometimes they're just general and they send it to everyone, but sometimes they really pick out a specific person, do some research about them, and even start calling them about a specific, maybe specific sickness they're having, and trying them to donate or open a file that's related to that for a good cause. Okay. And they open the file and then they get affected. So sometimes they really target one specific person, and that's called spear phishing.
Spear phishing.
Spear phishing, yeah.
It's targeting one specific person.
Yeah, with the spear, like targeting
like
him.
Fish.
Then, they call it spear phishing. And that's one of the most common ways a company gets breached, I think. Way more common than attacked externally. But if they get attacked externally with an exploit, that's way more risky than a phishing attempt, obviously. because then they already have access to a system. With a phishing attack, they just have access to a laptop or a normal device, but not a server or a device that's really important inside the network.
Yeah. Okay. And like you said before, if the company's been smart and that person that's been hacked with spear phishing doesn't have access, that like more access than he actually needs to do his work, then the hackers will get blocked anyway, right?
Yeah, if there are not any misconfigurations or any other vulnerabilities inside the network, then yes. But yeah, as I said, it's really common that there is actually big vulnerabilities inside the network, inside the Windows domain, like misconfigurations. We see it's very common as well that there are some misconfigurations that are published by other security researchers that found those, so credits to them, inside that's a technical term, but there's some certificate services that company use to generate SSL certificates and such. And there are very common misconfigurations in there that lets a user request them as well, and they can impersonate a domain admin or another computer account, and then you're a domain admin.
Okay.
And when we see them, that the company, like it's probably the first pen test, they have those servers actually installed because they're using them. Those misconfigurations are normally present.
All right.
Because they never had a pen test done, they don't know about these vulnerabilities. Because IT administrators, they want systems to work. They don't know all the things that might happen or might not be so securely configured, and they just take the default configurations, and sometimes those are not even really secure.
All right, and we've talked a lot about ransomware. That was one of my favorite questions. This is like asking to your for your opinion personally. Is paying a ransomware ever a good idea? And what should you do as a person or a company in the first hour after you realize that you've been breached or hacked?
Okay, so to answer the first part,
yeah,
paying a ransomware probably is never a good idea, but for some companies, it's the only option to stay operational. So let's assume, you're breached. You have backups, but you find out that you try restoring one machine and your backups are not working. All your data is encrypted. You don't have access to it anymore. Your whole operations is a standstill. You cannot do anything anymore. All your systems are locked out. You cannot recover from any backup or data as well. So then the CEO is for a decision to choose, like, do I give up my company or do I pay the 500,000 ransom, which I will probably gain back in a year anyway?
But how can you be sure that if you get, these are criminals. How can you be sure that if you pay, that you'll get your data back or access to your data?
That's a good question. I think I would reconsider that as well. But for the ransomware groups, this is their business.
Okay.
So those ransomware groups operate under specific names, like some Russian groups, APT 29 or Cozy Bear or something like that. They have their status and their reputation as well. And if their reputation is known to not give the ransom keys once the company pays, nobody is going to pay them anymore.
All right.
So they
sort of
actually deliver a pretty good service.
Okay.
They will, they even have live chats. If you respond to them, they
really
will respond instantly back.
I can live chat with my hacker, with my...
Yeah, they probably they have better services than some companies out there.
Okay.
And they really help you to recover your files as well, because they want to have a good reputation.
Okay.
So probably the moment you pay, you'll probably have your data back in a couple of hours. Compared to maybe trying to restore all your data from backup, it might even take 3 weeks or a month, or
and
maybe
also,
even longer.
Sometimes it's not just getting the access back. Sometimes the data can be leaked online, and that's even worse than, not even worse, but that's also
that's also
additional
something
problem.
that they will try to bargain with, I guess, is that, your data is encrypted, but also if you don't pay it, we will just leak it on the internet or sell it to other companies.
Like you said, paying is never like a good idea, but sometimes it's the only option you have.
It's the only option you have left, yeah.
Okay. So basically you're saying that paying the ransom is never a good idea, but it's sometimes the only option a company has to either get their access back to their data, or even preventing that their data is leaked online. or sold to other companies?
Yeah, because sometimes it's also a cheaper option. So let's say they're asking for, let's say 1 million, but you could actually recover from backups, but you know it will take us 2 months.
Yeah.
But your lost revenue will be 3 million.
Yeah.
So then for you, it's a lot easier to actually pay the 1 million than to lose 3 million. The FBI and the police will always tell you, don't pay the ransomware guys. You're actually enabling them to do these things. And if nobody pays, they probably won't have any work anymore. But you also lose your whole company or get bankrupt. So for them, it's an easier decision.
Yeah, all right.
And most of the groups actually know that you are actually actively getting your data back. And you could also actually just ask. There's also in people that actually do active intervention for your company to get the price down. But normally they already know, this is your revenue. They will know a lot about your company. And they will be like, I know you're making 10 million a year. So you have to pay at least 1 million. We're not going to drop the price.
So there are negotiators?
Yeah, there are actually negotiators that do the negotiation for you.
And who are these people? Are they...
There's just also security experts that are probably well known within the ransomware community as well. There's some specific people in the Netherlands.
But are these like legal positions or?
No, I don't. No, they don't do any legal counsel. Just people that negotiate for you, and they probably known some of those hackers groups well. Not pretty well, but they have spoken to them before because they did the negotiation before with them.
Okay.
And they know how to do the negotiations. They're pretty pricey as well, probably because they will take a cut. Like, let's say I bring the price down from 1 million to 500,000. They will take a cut from the difference, obviously.
Discount.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But the hackers, you could probably negotiate with them as well to get the price down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they know a lot of information about your company and your revenue as well, and they will ask a price that they think they could at least extract from you.
And so the second part of the question was, what should you do in the first 60 minutes of the first hour after you realize that you've been breached?
Yeah, so a common thing that people think is shut down everything and stop everything, but when you shut down the system, you also lose all the traces and the things that are on there because a lot of things are actually in memory. Mm-hmm. When you shut down a system, the memory so it's not stored on the disk, but inside the memory that the computer is using to progress things.
Okay.
The best thing to do is actually to move them to a separate part of the network where they don't have any internet access or no access to the rest of the network anymore.
Okay.
You have to do that with the systems that are actually where you think they're compromised. But the first thing you probably do for that is, are we actually compromised? Mm-hmm. But if you have big error messages with your data is encrypted on every screen, you are probably compromised. But sometimes it starts with a simple alert like, hey, we see many login attempts coming from this machine. So that's probably an attacker that's on that machine. Are those actually valid or is it something malicious? So you probably first figure out, is there actually something malicious going on? And from the moment you think, hey, something is malicious going on, then you should segment it from the rest of the network.
And the first thing, so should you do it yourself or should you call a company, like a cybersecurity company that does this for you?
Well, it really depends on the security team you have on hand. There are some big companies out there that have like security teams for this themselves. If you don't, definitely call a security team from a well-known security provider. Sometimes you have contracts with them already, at least when they're doing monitoring. So probably if you have active monitoring going on inside your company, like a SIEM, or that's already probably being done by an external company, it's best to contact them and find somebody through them. They probably have contracts, or you already have a contract with them to do those services. And otherwise, you definitely have to ask a external security company to help out with this, because doing forensics is not something a normal IT person should do. Okay. And hopefully they have time to directly come to you and help you out. Sometimes they also don't, if it's a really busy month with like when the whole exchange thing was going on when I talked about earlier. there's many companies that are getting breached. And if you don't already have a contract with one of the companies, and you're not one of their big high-value companies, they're not even coming to help, even though you had a contract with them, they would come help you out. Because there are bigger and more important companies, they actually have to help out as well.
Okay.
So, but then it's a big crisis.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why we are also helping other companies. It's not our main service. We don't normally sell them, but if you have clients that are actually hacked and they need help and there's nobody else who can help them, of course we will try to help them out as well.
Okay.
But it's not our main service.
Okay. So just can we sum up the most important things that you have to do when you realize you've been breached, either as a like private person or a company, and the measure that you can use, that you can have to prevent ever from being breached?
To prevent from being breached, always update all your systems.
Yeah.
Don't try to expose things to the internet that don't need to be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
We see like a lot of firewalls that have their admin interface over the web browser exposed. That's really easy because you could manage the network from your home, but it's better to limit to restrict the port with an IP address. So only my home IP address or somebody else's home IP address could actually access the system on that port. So when an attacker, which is coming from an attacker is not coming from my home IP address, from another IP address, they won't actually see that port open, so they cannot connect through it.
Okay.
So that's one of the best things to do, just have as less attack surface to the internet exposed as possible. Obvious for phishing, train your users with awareness campaigns, give them phishing attempts. Actually do active pen testing every year, or at least once a year at least, I would say.
So pen testing should be done every year?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to have something done regularly. You could obviously do it multiple times a year, especially in software development. If you're making a web application, with every big update, you actually want to have the new features or the new things you have implemented inside your application tested. Sometimes you also see that it only gets tested once a year, but we did the pen test and the next month there's a big update. We think the app is safe, but new vulnerabilities are actually inside the update, and then they might not be noticed till the next year, unless not ethical hacker finds them and exploits them, and then get access to the database, reads all the data, and then leaks that to the internet.
Okay. No. Thank you, Jony. These are all the questions that we had today. If you have more questions, you can always drop them in the comments and we'll try to answer them as soon as possible.
Thank you.